Hello friends, and now let us take up the concept number 14, 3.14, look and feel program on students' marks report. The basic objective of academia system is enable you to crystallize knowledge as far as possible at every point of time. Abstract knowledge or half knowledge are very dangerous. That's why, in order to enable you to crystallize your knowledge on HOP approach, I developed a unique model that is called look and feel program. Now, I believe that you understood the spirit, underlying spirit of function oriented programming approach with my explanation in the previous concept. Now, on the same issue, students' mark report, if I show you the program, complete program, true function oriented program, then you can have an idea how it will be. This is like knowing about the next station. While you are traveling, generally you have a curiosity, what is the next station? So, in this case, already you learnt concept. Now, how it is implemented in programs, if you know, then you can have better knowledge. Don't bother about coding details. The structure of the real structure of the function oriented programming program you have to understand. That is the objective of this look and feel program. Already I explained to you how it is dissected. And one more thing you have to understand, a function is a simple program, a small program or sub program. It is like that. It is a neighboring flour mill. Okay. So, for this purpose, you have to give input and it gives output. Here, processing. Actually, for program also the same structure. You have to give input and the program process it, and as a result of that, output is generated. Okay. Now, a function is nothing but a small program or a subtask. So, the same elements will be there. So, most functions take input by way of argument. We call them as arguments, and it process it. That is black box. How it process, we do not know. And thereafter, it generates output through return statement. One return statement is there. Through return statement, it returns. Most functions return values. That point you understand. Few functions do not return, which we learn later, not now. I don't want to distract your attention. So, now you see all the functions already explained to you. Now I explain to you, and here some more refinement I do that. Now if you see this, you can understand that one function. What is the name of that? Read stud data, student data it is reading. Actually, earlier read data I showed. Now I want to make it more refined. That means student personal data is there, student marks data is there. I am separating two separate functions. I am defining for that purpose. Read stud data, read stud data. This is the first function. Then actually whatever stud data means, it is his name, class number and roll number. I am creating a data structure. Don't bother if you don't know what is data structure. I am putting in a container, single container, not three containers. Thereafter it returns. Don't bother about coding details, just you watch it. Now it reads data and puts it in a list. List is a data structure. Thereafter it returns that list. This is the first function. Already according to my definition, you understand that this is a block of statements. Which perform single identifiable job. Only one job it takes. Students data it reads, and it is having a identifiable name, and it returns data. Some functions may not return data also. So in this manner you understand. Don't bother about coding details, just to have understand the structure and the division of the entire program according to function orientation. Now this is the second function. This is read marks. Actually previous function deals with the personal data like a name, class number and roll number, and it stores the 3 items in a list and returns. Now for the sake of more refinement I did like this. This is read marks. This means it reads only marks. There are 5 papers in our example. It reads 5 papers, and in the list, one list named mark list, it stores and it returns that. This is the second function. So one more thing you have to understand. If a task is so big, it is single task only. If you feel if it is bigger, you may refine it, you dissect it. For example, a company collecting customers data, then a big service report, there are around 20 items. Then for the sake of clarity and simplicity, they may divide all 20 items into groups: personal data, income data, academic data and other data. Like that they can classify all these data relating to customer, but they can dissect it. That point you keep in mind. Now because of that, instead of one function read data, I created a first function for reading certain items like a name, class number, roll number, and this one read marks, purely for reading marks I created the second function. Now the third and fourth functions, actually total marks. You may better write calculate total marks. Okay, for calculating total marks, what information this function requires? This function requires mark list. See that I have given here, I have given mark list as the input. Then after processing, what it returns? It returns total marks. Just always you compare it like a machine. You give inputs, it processes and delivers the output. Okay, that is calculating total marks. Thereafter, calculating average marks or simply average marks, right? Nothing wrong. This is next function. Actually, which input it requires? You know that it wants total marks. If you have total marks only, you can calculate average marks. That's why the input of average marks function is total marks. What it returns? Returns average marks. These are the two functions. Just go through that. Just starting statement you see and ending statement you see. That is, what are the arguments it is taking, what it is returning. That is enough. Next function, the fourth function, check pass or fail. Check pass or fail. As I told you already, whatever name you give, it should be self-explanatory. Actually, how can you write? You have to check a student passed or not. There is no shorter name. If you give shorter name, again you have to write a comment. People cannot understand that. That's why while giving names to any programming elements, you think twice. It is not so easy. It is a challenging job. So for this, at least 5 minutes I thought of and gave check, pass or fail. There is no confusion in that. So what is the logic here? The student should pass in all papers. Pass in all papers. That's why Actually, a student status by default what we define as like pass. But when is failed? If he gets 35%, less than 35% in one or more papers, he declared as failed. Then the return is status. Status means originally by default is pass, and if he gets less than 35% marks in any of the papers, is declared as failed. That is the status. So this function, check pass or fail function, takes mark list and it tests whether the student gets less than 35% in any paper and declared fail, otherwise is pass.